if you ask me. I always loved it after the snowfall came, growing up in the Pacific Northwest, and you start to see just a little peekaboo of the blue sky, you know that the better weather is coming. But look at that guy in that truck right there. Good luck getting out of that, huh? I mean, it looks like he's been able to dig himself out. But this was the situation across several states yesterday. And what it ended up creating, there's the snowplow right there, was a snowy mess for millions of people, just to try to deal with, to get out of their homes, out of their garages, and then B, to hit the road and try to get into work. So, good morning, everybody. This is Fox 10 Talks. We go on at 10 every morning with all the latest information and conversation. Good morning to Louis Gonzalez and the Aviator and Mr. Paul Valine. We are all happy that you guys are joining us this morning. Now, what we did is, and we always have a great time with our chances just to visit with Krystal a little bit. Hello, Krystal.
Hi, good morning.
Okay, so we woke up to all this. I was actually watching some college football games from like places like Iowa. Oregon played Iowa. My alma mater, Washington, played Wisconsin and lost. But, you know, the game started off with decent weather, but as night came on, even Saturday night, we started to see the snow. So what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, the pattern is a little bit of a flip-flop. So over us, we've got a ridge of high pressure, which brings warmth. And then over the eastern half of the country, there's this huge trough that's in place that is diving all of this cold air and snowy weather as well. You talked about, watching football. I have a friend who lives in the Michigan area. And she texted me, I think it was yesterday morning, I woke up to the text that said, first snow of the season. And it was a picture of her kids looking out the window at the snow. And I wrote back,
like Cat in the Hat.
Yes. And I wrote back, it's supposed to be 90 here today. So huge difference in weather, right?
Yeah.
Let's switch over to my graphics. We can take a look at the map and I will show you.
Do it.
There's that area of low pressure, that huge trough I was talking about. So this is something that happens every year, right? We get these big troughs that dive cold air across the Great Lakes. And then if they're strong enough and they dive deep enough, then you get cold air all the way down to the south. And actually there are freeze alerts all the way down in the south as a result of this system that's dropping through. It will eventually lift up to the northeast. They'll get some of this weather as well as it continues to move forward. But this is the view of the comparison. What we're dealing with is that ridge of high pressure, which has been keeping us so warm. Now, the good news is things will change for us eventually. It looks like by the end of the week, as that area of low pressure for the northeast shifts, we will also see a shift in our pattern. But here's where the snow is falling currently.
Look at that.
I know there's a pretty good amount of it. So there's snow up near parts of the Great Lakes. It's moving into like upstate New York. And then the area that's of most interest is, look at that, snow diving all the way down into parts of Tennessee. Even it looks like parts of
Huntsville,
the south,
Alabama.
In Alabama. So it's pretty impressive to see it through Kentucky, down into Alabama. That might be kind of falling as flakes and melting as it makes it to the ground because it looks pretty light on radar. But this is a nice dose.
Could it reach all the way down to Atlanta?
I mean, there's freeze alerts in place, so that means it's cold enough in some areas.
Wow. Okay.
But I'm sure that if anything does fall, it'll be melting as it falls down that deep south. But this is a nice view for them. It definitely has given them the taste of winter, right?
Hello, Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And Pittsburgh, get ready. It's coming to you
Charleston,
here in the next couple of
they're
hours.
getting it good as well. Yeah. So they're all seeing all that kind of snowy weather that's moving our direction, which is nice.
Is this a little bit early for so much?
It's pretty normal for this time of year, for them to be starting to see, these troughs that bring in the colder air and the snow. Certainly, anytime snow can make it south, it's a little bit of a exception to the rule. Not impossible, but a little bit of an exception to the rule. But no, not too shocking for areas, like Ohio and Indiana to be seeing it this time of year for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, keep moving those maps.
Okay.
I mean, we are taking a look at the what's going on right now. But why is it that later this week now we're actually going to? Is it? I know it's going to be rainy here in the valley. Is there the chance of snow up north by
Potentially,
Friday
yes.
or Saturday? So
here's back to the map we were just on, that high pressure ridge that's over us right now.
Yeah.
It takes a few days for it to kind of flatten out a bit as it declines to the southeast. And that'll give us a couple of days where today we're quite above average, upper 80s. The next few days, Veterans Day, Wednesday, Thursday, it'll be more like middle 80s, which is still warmer than average. Average is 79, by the way, at Phoenix Sky Harbor today. But you can see by midweek, we start to get it into picture that area of low pressure, that trough that's diving up against the west coast. Now, for the last couple of weeks, the storm track has kept everything to the north of us. So in this scenario, it would just kind of lift up and over the PNW and we would miss out on it. But in this scenario, you could see that it dives down California and on into Arizona by Thursday evening into Friday. And that will pull in that cooler air as well. So depending on how far south it dives, that'll decide how cold of air we get. And then the speed at which it passes over us will decide how much precipitation we get in the form of rain and, again, some potentially high elevation snow. But for right now, it looks like the best bet is Friday. And for the valley, it's about a 50% chance, lingering 20% in early on Saturday. If we look at the actual Futurecast map, I can pull that up and you'll see what it looks like right now. And of course, it's a little early, so things will change. They'll be adjusted a little bit. But there it is, running into California through Thursday. We're starting to get the cloud coverage moving on in. And then into Friday, you can see how it spreads moisture across the state. Now, again, that means there's fairly widespread chances across the state starting to pull out by Saturday afternoon. But if I reverse it a little bit, anywhere where you see those little pink spots at the higher elevations are spots where right now the model is suggesting a turnover to maybe some rain flipping to snow.
Ooh,
so this would be like
that.
San Francisco Peak, some of the White Mountains.
White Mountains.
It's a little early to say how much accumulation because, again, if the system's really fast, probably little to no accumulation. But if it's a bit slower or a bit colder, then there is the possibility of some accumulating snow. It also looks like this system, as it passes on through, will be windy. So especially in the high elevation, Friday into Saturday, windy weather is expected.
I think a lot of people are looking forward to the cooler temperatures.
Yes, for us by Saturday, 60s for highs, which should be huge.
I mean, it'll be, you said earlier this morning it'll be lower, our temps will be lower than normal.
Yes.
But I think that finally it's like people, you know, we're going to feel like fall and winter, and lots of people have already started putting up their Christmas decorations. So it's really going to be awesome.
It'll finally make us lean into the season or wear our boots, like you were saying earlier. Finally put on those boots.
Brace yourself for parka sales at every Target and Walmart.
60s.
Yeah, that is cool for us. Krystal, thank you.
Thank you, Krystal.
That was really a lot of great info, and we always, well, we'll check in with you as the week goes on, just to see exactly what's going on. Now, this is a live view from Atlanta, and Krystal was talking about freeze warnings in the northern portions of Georgia this morning, and we've been watching these airports. I mean, we're over 1,600 flight cancellations. Atlanta's got a big airport. Phoenix has got a big airport. Syleste, I saw over 400 flight delays already today at Sky Harbor.
You know, I'm hoping, I was just on Twitter about a few moments ago, and I read, Krystal, thank you so much. Such great info. Awesome. We just tweeted out some information, our web team did, and it was that just about an hour ago or so that the government shut down, you know, they're in some negotiations right now, hoping to get this whole thing figured out and hopefully get a lot of air traffic controllers back to work. There was a couple of airports around the country, I believe, that had some hiccups with security lines because they didn't have enough TSA workers.
I heard that,
And so, you know, you have that situation happening, you know, and then you have the air traffic control situation. I had a girlfriend in LA trying to make it here to Phoenix over the weekend, and she tried to get out on Saturday. It was rescheduled 3 times. Tried to get out on Sunday, rescheduled, and she thought, you know, forget it. She could have just driven here, I'm thinking. You know, I mean, if you're that close, but, you know, if you have a flight out somewhere, and right now, I mean, some people may make light of it, but, you know, you have people that may be traveling for doctor's visits, surgeries, you know, things that are
family
really
gatherings, weddings, funerals. Yes, right.
You have really serious things happening.
One of the most ominous things I heard from the Transportation Secretary today, Sean Duffy, he said they are seeing 15 to 20 air traffic controllers now retire every single day. They are fed up with working as much as they work and not being paid for now more than a month. And he also said that even once the shutdown is over, it's going to, basically the after effects are going to kind of linger for a while. Take a listen to this.
Bring the shutdown to an end.
I need a moratorium on the punishing of the federal workforce. That's what I need.
With the government reopening shortly, Senate Republicans now finally have to come to the table. Or, make no mistake, Americans will remember who stood in the way.
I expect Republicans to be at the table in the next few weeks. I expect the White House to be at the table. And if they do choose not to come to the table, they can own the disastrous premium increases that will continue to rise.
I mean this sincerely. We applaud the 7 Senate Democrats and 1 independent senator who did the right thing. They decided to put principle over their personal politics.
All right. We are working on the glitchiness. Our apologies for all the audio there. But now the question is, did they do the right thing? For years, people have complained, why can't Republicans and Democrats actually work together?
Yeah.
And this time they did. We're going to roll out the poll question, and then a little later this morning, you'll see Big D. Big D. Grab that QR code. 67% say good. The shutdown should have never happened. 18% now, 19% say bad. Democrats should have kept it shut down and got that deal. 14% are saying, I'm just glad to see, I don't know if we should say glad or amazed to see both sides working together.
I know, right? My goodness. Let's take a look at YouTube this morning.
Oh, we can't. Look at that. The meeting is ended.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
The
Celeste,
meeting.
how do we handle that situation?
Big D.
Big D's working on it. Well, I'll just read them to you real quick as we're going to get ready for a break, actually. Is this a mystery camera, huh, Ron?
Oh, it is. Wouldn't you love to be on that island? We'll be right back. Well, we were showing you all the snowy pictures in some parts of the USA, but Celeste, in this pine-covered dale, there is a beautiful golf course, it looks like. I think that's a golf. Maybe it's.
I don't know.
That's a golf course.
I think so too. I'm with you on this one.
Where do we think?
So Thomas Brown says North Carolina.
Okay.
Let's see. I believe we have like a New Mexico in here. B. Miguel says Oregon.
Okay.
We have a few other guesses kind of coming through. But what are your thoughts, Ron?
Well, I like RLS vids as I always do. The island looks like a Christmas cookie with green sugar on top. Now, that's not really a guess, but it's poetry. So RLS, you're nailing it. That's for sure.
We have a New Mexico from Louis Gonzalez.
Yeah.
And from Mr. Paul Valine.
Okay. I Oh, you know what? Well, I'm going to stick with Colorado.
Okay.
Because I remember in the break, I'm like, that looks like maybe it's Colorado.
Yeah.
But I think I remember a kind of in the around, what's it called? Cloudcroft, Ruidoso.
Oh, in New Mexico.
Some parts of New Mexico.
Okay, I'll go with.
kind of look like that.
I'll go with New Mexico. Halaquita says Gordo says New Mexico.
All right.
So is Gordo your like your +1 or your
Yep.
I have an uncle Gordo.
Oh, you do? How come we've never heard about him before?
All my aunts and uncles got crazy nicknames. My Tia Gonge. I don't even know where that came from.
Oh, wow.
My Tia Pelona.
Okay.
But that now I call her Tia Mary.
I feel like I'm meeting the whole family. All right.
Okay, here we go.
Answer is.
I think Kelly
Yes.
Is Kelly filling in for Dina?
Yeah, tilt that just a little bit. See, there you go. Right? Kelly goes with the old-fashioned...
Ron?
Oh, it is New Mexico.
Ruidoso
itself.
Yeah.
And I had to guess Colorado. But we got a bunch of our guessers who had it right.
And by the way, Halaquita says Gordo is her kitty.
Oh.
You know what Gordo is, right, Ron?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like, full figured.
Yeah. A full-figured kitty. Why not?
Why not?
All right, let's go to Milwaukee. Celeste, what do you say?
Let's go.
Let me just punch up our live cams here. Here we go. Wait. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, ENG 20. Would you look, Celeste? This is amazing, right? So 3-4 days ago was just another normal day in Milwaukee.
Right.
And then what happened, buddy?
Yeah,
Bowen,
hey
go
there,
ahead.
Ron and Celeste. It's really crazy to think about. Hey there, yeah, it's almost crazy to think about what happened. Even people still have their Halloween decorations up, but if you look down here in Kenosha, Wisconsin, just 30 minutes south of Milwaukee, it almost looks like you're in Christmas time down here, as we have some people in the back there shoveling out their driveways, and this has really been the name of the game all morning long. We had people out shoveling their driveways all morning long and making sure that they got up a little early and get out to work. As look at this car just right next to us too. This is just showing how much snow has accumulated over this morning. Look at this. This is a good couple of inches or a few inches on the hood of this car right here, and then on the top. And you can see this car might have a little bit of a hard time maybe getting out of this spot here, as we had plow trucks coming through these roads all morning long here. And thankfully, the sun is up now, but earlier on this morning, I tell you, it was pretty cold out. I was out here, I wasn't even well prepared myself. I forgot to bring my gloves out this morning. I think I'm still in denial that winter may be just around the corner, especially up here in Wisconsin. The weather can change on you at any moment. I know one of our meteorologists was already talking, hey, maybe we might even be back in the 50s in a few days. So you really just have to be prepared for anything over here in Wisconsin. Ron, Celeste?
Bowen, we see some of those. I think we saw someone behind you also cleaning up. I'm guessing in Wisconsin they have all the tools they need, right? I mean, they're kind of used to this type of stuff in the winter.
Oh, definitely. I feel like a lot of people keep that brush in their cars at all times. The brush, especially for brushing off the snow on your cars right here, as you can tell, it gets to be a lot, and you really need to just make sure you got a good clear vision, some ice scrapers in your car as well, just to make sure that if you're getting out to work, that you can get out and be on your way quick here. Now, you can see the people over there still using their shovels, still shoveling out this morning, and we spoke to a man just a few miles away from this neighborhood actually, and he just told us how surprised he was to wake up this morning and find all of this snow on the ground. And you can see on the floor here too in the road that it's still pretty icy, so you also need to watch your step and just be careful even walking around on these streets out here. And we know that even in Kenosha here, it's a Monday, there are some school closures already for some of the schools here in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Oh, wow.
So some of the kids get to have a little nice long weekend, have the Monday off. So I mean, it comes with its perks too.
That's
for
true.
some of the kids here.
Bowen, here's my philosophy. I might be wrong, but I think this guy inside that house with the car that's, almost immovable, I think he just gave up for today. He might let some of that sun come through and get up tomorrow and give it a try.
I think so.
Hey, maybe that's not the bad move, right? Just let the sun take care of it, let it melt off the car, make it a problem for another day. You just woke up Monday, not today. We'll make it a problem for Tuesday.
That's our Bowen Kedrowicz. Bowen, thank you.
Thanks, Bowen.
Good to be with you.
All right. So, hey, look who's joining us now.
Wow. Look at you making the special trip in on a Monday.
Yeah, by the way, that's where I'm from. I don't miss
Milwaukee?
those big piles. Yeah, from Shorewood, which is right on Lake Michigan. So that's giving me flashbacks.
Is that normal? Like, do you remember growing up, like, there were days like this?
Yeah, I remember trick-or-treating at times and being snowed on. We'd be out there, in our costumes and fighting snow. But, then, you can tell it's not too cold because Bowen wasn't wearing gloves.
And Syleste cannot relate, having lived here her whole life in the beautiful weather this time of year. By the way,
true.
Speaking of the weather, let's talk a little bit, Robert. Some of your pictures, I think, are just fantastic. So let's jump right. So I'm talking to Robert this morning, Syleste.
Yes.
And I said, well, we're coming out of our weather coverage. Can you send a few extra pics? This is called Christmas Tree Lake?
Yeah, This is up in the White Mountains, up on the Apache reservation up there. White Mountain Apache, and just obviously a beautiful photograph. So many places up there are beautiful.
Yes.
And there are so many places people never get to because, they go to the obvious places, which are also beautiful, like Sedona and Flagstaff and Saguaro National Park. But, if you point your car in a different direction, you see stuff like this.
I am going to Google map Christmas Tree Lake. I can't believe I've never even heard of it.
I'm looking it up right now, Ron.
Okay, let's go through some more of these pics, buddy, because I just love that. Now, is this in this month's issue?
Yeah, this is our back cover, actually, Ron.
Okay.
And I love these shots when autumn is changing to winter, and photographers love them too. They get all kinds of these shots because it usually happens. It's not like it happened in Kenosha there with Bowen, but we do get dustings of snow.
Are you sure this isn't Kenosha we're looking at here?
Sure does look like it.
Yeah, he slipped me that photo when I was walking in.
Right. Okay, now one more weather-wise, and I just love the moodiness of the skies. And where are we here? We're up outside of Flag.
Yeah, this is up over O'Leary Peak, that volcano in the background is O'Leary Peak. There's a nice trail that goes up there, and you can see some of the cinder cones. The whole area up around Flagstaff is volcanic, so that's the history up there, and this was a nice drone shot.
He was telling, giving us like a little background on the San Francisco peaks. What did you say that before the volcano erupted, they believe maybe it was it higher than Mount Everest?
Yeah, it was at one point they believe it was just one big giant mountain, one big volcano.
Really?
So the San Francisco peaks, which is now plural, used to be just a peak, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah, and then when you hike into the middle of the meadow,
the Inner Basin Trail takes you right into what would have been, the cinder cone, the center of that volcano.
Well, we're so glad you made the extra special trip to join our audience on YouTube today.
Love it.
Let's talk a little bit more about this month's issue, and I'm going to start popping up here. I'm going to pull up some of these pics.
Yeah, so ranching and cowboys is a big part of our history.
Absolutely.
So we decided to mix it up, got a little bit away from the traditional landscape photography. The magazine, has a deep history with the West and the movies. It was actually photos from Arizona highways that inspired John Ford to come to Monument Valley and make movies there. So as it turned out, Harry Goulding, who had a trading post up on the Navajo Nation.
Goulding's Lodge.
Yeah, Goulding's Lodge. He was good friends with Yosef Munch, who was one of our photographers. So they took a bunch of magazines and photos, made a cold call to John Ford and said, you really ought to come out here and make movies. And as it turned out, they did.
The rest is history.
The Westerns that were created. It's amazing.
What's happening here?
These are just some traditional roundup photos. What for your viewers, this is still a way of life for families out there. And a lot of these ranches have been around for more than 100 years in the same family.
It makes you think of Yellowstone, right? The way you're thinking about that, because there's kind of big love for that. So let me ask you this. This has come from Halakita in our chat. A question for Stieve. Are all your photographers hikers?
No. We've got some photographers who have bad knees like Joe Namath.
Oh, okay.
So they get as far as their car will take them. But we also have a lot of intrepid photographers
like backpackers.
They backpack for 2 or 3 days into the back country and find photos. This was an easier shot up on a ranch in near Greer.
I think there's something really beautiful though when you speak about backcountry hiking. It's so quiet, and it's you and nature, whether or not it's with the cowboys or at the peaks.
And that looks like it could just literally be the poster for Yellowstone.
Yeah, isn't that right, Ron?
show.
It's a beautiful shot. I mean, horses are so beautiful anyway, and then you get put them in the setting of Arizona, it gets even better.
Muffin says Arizona is absolutely amazing, and we couldn't agree more. All right, let's show you one more here.
Yeah, this one is up actually near Kirkland, which is over toward Yarnell in that direction, over toward Prescott. Just a beautiful autumn shot. There are still some what they call dude ranches in Arizona. There are not many of them. There used to be hundreds of them just in Arizona, and most of them have gone away. But there's still about a dozen left that still give you that same experience out there. And again, the flip side is there's families still making a living.
Only 30 seconds left. I'm going to squeeze it in real quick from Be Kind Forever. When do you find is the best time for lighting?
Really, the early morning or the late evening. I'm not a photographer, but I've read our magazine a few times.
You've met a few?
And I've met a few photographers. Yeah, you have to be out there, well before the sun comes out, and then hang out and let it go down and get your shot.
Oh, so good to see you.
Thanks for having me. I love this.
Robert, so amazing.
Okay, buddy. And by the way, what should we look forward to for December?
It's all about winter and snow and cold. It looks just like Kenosha.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Get ready for it.
That'll be a treat in Arizona highways. Robert, always great, buddy.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
We loved this shot so much we just hung on it for the whole commercial. We're still staring at it there. I mean, to me, you see the fall colors, they kind of come a little bit later in Arizona.
Yeah.
But that is as cool a fall photo I think I've ever seen coming out of our state.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Ron, I did look up Christmas Tree Lake. It's out near Mount Baldy.
Oh, okay.
And kind of like one of those valleys down south. Yeah. And it's got 4.8 stars.
Well, okay. You can never go wrong with 4.8.
That's right.
Hey, we got a lot going on this segment, so we're going to get right to some of the stories here that have people talking. Did you hear about the wave, the massive wave that hit in Spain in Tenerife over the weekend? This deadly wave, from what we're now seeing, actually killed several people. At least 3 people killed from, I guess you could call it a killer wave, and 15 others were hurt. So it's in Tenerife. You know, it's that island that's Spanish territory, but way out there in the Atlantic Ocean. Other video showed people standing on a pier being swept out to sea, if you can imagine it. And so they've been trying to warn people, just sort of stay away from the coastline as much as you can. Now, another story we're following, we have Josh Kohlsrud coming up, Syleste, next hour. He's one of the more prominent attorneys here in town. President Trump is now floating the idea that he wants to send $2,000 checks to people across the country from the revenue that's being generated by his tariffs. So, and I believe this is for man, woman, and child. I don't even think it's for adults. So if you had a family of 4, you could be looking at an $8,000 check.
Wow.
So it is part of, his plan. As you know, the Supreme Court is going to be ruling on these tariffs. All of a sudden now you may have an audience rooting one way or the other.
For sure.
Oh, I wonder how this is going to go, but I like the idea of a $2,000 check. Then the other one that came up had to do with mortgages. Syleste, what do you think about this? So he says, he's really been frustrated with the Federal Reserve that they're not lowering interest rates more. I think feeling pretty strongly that until we can get interest rates back down to 5%, maybe even a little bit more like a 4 7/8.
Thank you. Bring it. Yep. Keep dropping it.
Housing market will improve. So he's like, maybe if we did a 50-year mortgage, what do you think?
Wow.
Yeah.
It's almost like a reverse mortgage because you're going to be living forever in the house, right? I mean, I don't know about that.
My first thought when I heard it is, oh, no. But then I thought, not very many people live in a house for 30 years. So what's the difference between 30 and 50? The actual difference, somebody pulled out the old calculator.
Well, it's a less of a payment, right?
On a $400,000 house, $300 less every month.
You can always, and you can always pay it off, if you want to.
Yeah. So,
if you win the Mega Millions,
exactly,
which continues to grow.
Hey, now we are about to launch into our Veterans Day segment. So let me just show you something really cool here. This Valley artist is honoring veterans with a new mural for the city of Goodyear. Yvonne Wan painted this Veterans Day mural at the City Hall in Goodyear. They love her out there in Goodyear. This is her 3rd time of putting one of these together, and she got help from the intern Carson. They met through Focus Comics, which helps youth in special needs. Carson got to help paint part of the mural, and then he got to sign his name at the bottom. And then look at the... Look at that right there.
That is such a great partnership. I think she's done a lot of work with these different comic groups, and she's done something like this as well. It really is so very cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
so speaking of Veterans Day, we do it right here in the Valley of the Sun. Look at who we have coming in and visiting with us.
I know. Look at Paula Pedene is here.
Paula.
Yes, good morning.
And who's the superstar you brought with you?
Randy Couture.
Yeah. Okay, you guys right into those microphones like it's a radio show.
There you go. Perfect.
Randy, did you guys know each other, or how did this all come together where you're like, I like what I'm hearing out of the Valley of the Sun and I want to be part of it?
Yeah, I got a message a couple weeks back. Would I be interested in being the Grand Marshal in the Phoenix Day Parade? And I had to do a little research myself. It's the 3rd biggest parade in the whole United States.
It really is. It's a big deal. Paula, how did you guys get wind of Randy? How did you guys make the connection?
So 4 Branches Bourbon is a brand started by 4 veterans.
Okay.
And it was one of the owners, Mike Trott, that put me in touch with Randy, and that's how we got it. And, you know, he had to agree, and he did. So we're grateful that he did that.
So we were chatting with him a little bit earlier, and Randy has a place up in Flagstaff.
Yeah.
So he's no stranger to Arizona, lives full-time in Vegas. But how this whole thing began, if you can take us back, you've been wrestling since you were 10.
Started wrestling when I was 10 years old. I wrestled all through school, wrestled in the Army, joined the Army at 19 to support a growing family, a young family. And the Army allowed me to do that. I thought wrestling was done for me when I joined the Army, but little did I know, in the peak of the Cold War, we had a lot of athletes and athletes programs in the service for morale.
Yeah.
And wrestling and boxing were certainly big in the Army. So.
Tell us about your time in service in the U.S. Army.
It was amazing. Very formative for me. I think once you take that oath and wear that green, you look at the world in a particular way. And that's not a switch you just turn back off. And now, you know, I'm 62 now, but in my 40s, started trying to find a way to give back to that community.
Okay.
And back to, certainly since 9/11, since a lot of our men and women have been going into harm's way and coming back with some injuries and stuff. That meant a lot to me. I wanted to find a way to help those folks out. They did things I never had to do, even though we took the same oath.
When you said there was a switch that was made and you can't unsee or ununderstand or unknow, can you explain to us what that means?
There's an indoctrination into the service. I mean, you learn things in a particular way. You learn by the numbers, literally, how to brush your teeth, how to fold your socks. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you learn, and that changes you from the inside out.
That's a good thing, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing at all. It certainly served me and has worked for me. So
tell us about the organization and what it does.
Which organization?
Well, where do you want to start?
Yeah.
Well, with Paula.
I mean, I'm involved with several. I run my own foundation for wounded combat veterans, the Extreme Couture GI Foundation. I run the Nevada chapter for MVP, Emerging Vets and Players, and there's Emerging Vets and Players right here in Phoenix. They'll be walking with me in the parade tomorrow. MVP and all the MVP men and women. We're in 9 cities across the country with that foundation, MVP, getting a bunch of veterans reconnected to the veteran community in their towns where they live.
Can you tell us some success stories that have come out of it?
There's been a ton. You know, we know the stats. We're losing 22 a day to PTSD and suicide, which is horrible. And I don't think that number is ever going to be 0. That's probably not realistic. But giving these folks an outlet to let those demons out into the light of day, and that's what MVP absolutely does. First of all, we get them back in the gym, working out, getting fit, feeling a little better about themselves.
Yes.
That sweating and working out, embracing the suck, as we called it, breaks down some barriers. So now after our workout, 30, 45-minute workout, we sit on the mats and we talk, and the stuff that comes out in those huddles on those mats after those workouts is amazing. Very, very powerful.
That is really brilliant that you do it in that manner. I think that when you are working out or doing something physical, there is a release, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. And then they're able to maybe have that release and open up on the mat, and you get to have those special conversations with them.
And then some of the demons come out. They don't like the light of day, so letting them out. And I guarantee you there's somebody else in this circle that's been there already and made it through. And didn't look down the wrong end of their gun.
People watching right now, how can they find you?
Vetsandplayers.org or xcgif.org, Extreme Couture GI Foundation.org.
So we had one quick question, Ron, if that's okay, from the chat. Is Four Branches Bourbon going to be at the Copper State Whiskey Festival this Saturday?
It is.
And that's the hat you're wearing.
That's the hat I'm wearing. That's another one of the veteran organizations that I'm a part of. It's a veteran spirits brand. For guys from each branch of service created this brand, and our motto is, stop drinking to forget, sip to remember. You served honorably, drink honorably, sip to remember, which I loved. And they brought me in as a brand ambassador to help promote this brand. So I'll be doing signings. I did some last night at Trevor's. I'll be
Trevor's, which location? They got great pizza there.
They got a lot. I had their pizza last night. It was amazing.
Did you have the Caesar salad?
I did.
That's so good.
You get out of my head, would you?
This is crazy. Oh my gosh, they have the best pizza.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh
really
my
good.
goodness. and we kind of buried the lead, Ron.
Yeah.
He was a UFC fighter.
Yeah.
And so we have.
There's that.
I said, what,
Hard to hide these cauliflower ears.
I said, what was that like? What was that like to step into the cage?
Never more alive in that moment, walking out of that tunnel in front of all those fans and walking those 4 steps up in that cage. You feel every hair on your body in that moment. So vulnerable, certainly alive. If you're not scared, you're probably a sociopath. There's a little fear involved that motivates you to do the work, right?
Yeah.
Put the time and work in so that you hopefully put yourself
Embrace
in the best
the
position
suck,
to
they
win.
say.
There
Embrace
you
the
go.
suck.
The whole reason we've got you here today is talk about Veterans Day. Paula, you're a big part of this interview, too. I'm going to show some highlights of previous Veterans Day. Tell us about the activities tomorrow, the where, when, and what people need to know.
So the parade starts at 11 a.m. It heads south on Central at Montebello, crosses east on Camelback, and then heads south on 7th Street to Indian School Road. Mm-hmm. We have 7 marching bands, 1 strolling band, and 3 large helium balloons. 2 new balloons this year. One, the Purple Heart, for the 250th anniversary, which is George Washington commissioned that medal. Yeah. So we brought that back. And then we have the Uncle Sam. So he went away because he got too old. We had him for like 20 years.
You got a new Uncle Sam balloon?
Yeah, we got a new Uncle Sam balloon. And they're not cheap, they're expensive. So we had to wait for the money, and the helium is super expensive. Yeah. But for the folks watching, Camelback is usually the easiest route to get to. There's lots of room there. Central and 7th are full. And there are speaker towers along the route so they can hear, and then we'll also have the program online. So there'll be QR codes being held up in the parade so they can find the program online.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. And he's at number 4. Randy's at number 4, so you'll see him in a beautiful Corvette.
Yeah.
I'll get my parade wave going.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. One more time, buddy. Go ahead. See, look at that.
Look at that big smile, right?
You'll recognize this guy now with the parade wave. Oh, yeah, I saw that on Fox 10 Talks. All right, you guys, thanks for hanging out with us today.
It was really so good to see you. Paula's been working this event for so long.
I know. So dedicated to veterans' causes.
How long?
29.
29.
We love you,
We
Paula.
love you, Paula.
All right.
You too, Randy.
Randy,
I
you
appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thanks. It's Ron and Celeste.
Hello.
And the cornucopia of great guests on today's show, Celeste, just continues.
So
wait till you see who we have on with us next. Ladies and gentlemen, the morning mayor himself, longtime friends. I love you, buddy. I mean, seriously, what you have done for the Valley, both on the air and just in the community, it's Dave Pratt. How
Hey,
you
Dave.
doing?
Good morning.
Well, good morning, Ron. It's great to see you. I love you too, buddy. And Celeste, it's good to see you as well. And thanks for having me on.
Okay, so there's a big award that gets handed out this weekend.
Yes.
They looked around and said, and I think this is the 13th, you're going to have to tell us all about it, Dave. But they looked around and said, why has Dave never been given this award? Tell us about it.
Well, it's quite an honor, and it's a Lifetime Achievement Award. And, you know, we kind of live our lives in chapters, right? It's like putting a book together. So you try to think of the phases of your life to where you had some type of an achievement. And for me, it's a little bit difficult. I think I took second in the 5th grade spelling bee, but that was about it. But this is, it's not about me at all, although I really appreciate it. You know what, Celeste, Ron, we're really lucky because for what we do, we're in the spotlight. And if we can use that spotlight to help others, then that's really what it's all about. So the Joy Bus is an incredible charity that just serves meals and gives company to cancer patients, absolutely free. It's 100% nonprofit. And that's what this was all about. So they honored me with the Lifetime Achievement Award. But the truth is, Jennifer Caraway, who founded the Joy Bus, is truly the Lifetime Achievement winner.
You know, Jennifer is a dear friend of mine. I've had her in to do some long form interviews with her, Dave, and you're absolutely right. The Joy Bus, she started just by making meals and delivering them to her friend who had cancer, and it's blown up. Like it just has grown and grown and grown. What is your connection with the Joy Bus? And they just opened a new restaurant, I believe, a bigger space.
Celeste, I'll be honest with you. I was not aware of the Joy Bus. Pat McMahon, one of my friends, mentioned it to me at one point that it was this incredible diner on 32nd Street, just south of Shea. But I really wasn't aware of it until they contacted me, but I sure am now. It is absolutely stunning. And to get behind grassroots charities that started with a why. Every great charity needs a why. And Celeste, you know Jennifer's story. It started with losing a friend. It seems like those charities just have a lot of meaning and that grassroots vibe that's so important. So I'm very proud to know them now, for sure.
I think one of the lines that really attracted us, Dave, is they said, when they reached out to us ahead of time, they said, we are celebrating a radio legend, a morning mayor, and a cancer survivor. I know you've been pretty open about your cancer fight. Tell us a little bit about it and what people can take away from it.
Yeah, it's a little humbling there, Ron, because, I battled cancer for about 20 years, but for what I've gone through is nothing compared to some of the faces that I saw in the crowd. But like I said, we're in a position that we can put a spotlight on others and hopefully be good advocates for their care. I was first diagnosed with cancer 20 years ago. I had the prostatectomy, but I've been going back for PSA checks every 3-4 months. And recently it was elevated. I went through 6 weeks of radiation, and I think I'm good, buddy.
Good.
You just appreciate every day and enjoy every day. But I've been an advocate for men getting checked. Women are really good, Celeste. Women know how to communicate with each other. They wear pink and they help each other and they walk together. Guys, Ron, I think you would admit we're a little bit more laid back. It's like, I don't know if I want to talk about it.
When you say we communicate with each other, sometimes too much.
Yeah,
people are like,
true.
okay, ladies, calm down.
Yeah,
but we do, and I think it's great that you do this with men because you're absolutely right. How many times, Ron, have we had doctors and they say men just need sometimes a little bit of a push from the women in their lives or other friends to say, hey, go get checked out. Right, Dave?
That's right. And catch it early. Give the docs a chance. If you catch it early and you're on the early curve, there's so many options, especially with prostate cancer. As you guys know, every type of cancer is different. But with prostate cancer, if you catch it early, you have a pretty good shot at it. So men, just, buck up and realize that it's more manly to get checked than to not. It's a responsibility to your family and friends.
Well, we only got about a minute left, and this next answer could take 5 minutes, but go for it. Tell us about everything else you've got going on nowadays.
Well, the radio and the television and the stage part of my career, I'm so grateful for. Oh, my gosh. I just can't thank enough people for supporting me over the years. Just like both of you, you're pros, you've been around, and you always appreciate that. But now we have Pratt Marketing Agency, which is really a chance to get creative and have some fun with our clients. We have wonderful clients. You just had one on today, honoring America's veterans. That's one of our clients. And then we have a network that produces and distributes about 200 shows a week. Out of Scottsdale.
That's
so still getting to do what I love, but a little bit more behind the curtain now.
Right. And that's mostly in the podcasting world, right? I mean, you're podcast central for Arizona.
Yeah, two parts of the business, Ron. There's the podcast business, and then there's Pratt Marketing Agency, which is a full service marketing agency. So I get to be creative with both.
So as we wrap up with you, I do have to ask, because you worked in radio for so long here in Arizona, you're a legend here in Arizona broadcasting. When you wake up in the morning or you step in the car, what music do you listen to? Do you have a favorite artist? Do you have a favorite song that you jam out to in the shower? Like, what is your jam?
So Syleste, I was really lucky because I had a career in both rock and country radio, which is pretty unusual. The ironic part is I'm a big Motown fan.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Nice.
When I'm cruising down the freeway, I got the Temptations and Smokey on. And,
sure.
I love Motown. I always have. I'm from a small town. Country and rock those are just the formats I ended up on.
Yeah. That's so amazing.
Well, we got to have you come be on the show a little bit more often. I'm sure folks are enjoying this in the YouTube chat as well. Dave, best to you. Can't wait till the next time we get a chance to talk.
Thank you. Good to see you guys.
Yep. Good to see you, Dave.
Okay, on to our next story. And by the way, Bella is going to be joining us now. We've been looking forward to that, along with the audience. She was off on Thursday and Friday, so here she comes.
We were crying.
Celeste,
there were tears, Ron.
Yeah, I know. Your story of the day had to do with AI animals? What?
Yes, AI animals.
Okay.
So the crazy story with the AI animals is that on social media, you may see some videos with babies and animals, babies and pets. They're all over my feed because I love both. Yeah. But the question is, if you see a human and like a wild animal, like a wild wolf or a wild lion or tiger, is it real? And it's kind of a trend these days, and there's a lot of experts, and they're concerned, and Bella, you've seen these probably all over social media. Yes. People are concerned that it's going to encourage people to seek out these opportunities in real life. And that is something
weird.
Yeah, and they do not
they
want.
Can't tell the difference?
Right.
Have
you seen these videos on social?
No.
It's very hard to decipher.
Yeah. I saw one where it was this big lion and it went to give like a little kid a hug and they embraced in a hug.
Yeah.
So I can see how that's very misleading. And
yes.
dangerous.
Wow. Okay, well, that was Celeste's story of the day, so stay away from those artificial animals.
We want you to stay alive.
I saw this thing, you guys, over the weekend, some of the headlines about Thanksgiving. Let's see, from the Food Network, the price of Walmart's Thanksgiving turkey is the lowest since 2019.
Wow.
Let's see here. How about USA Today? Target's Thanksgiving meal bundle costs less than $20, lowest price ever. So I thought we could ask AI. We haven't done that in a while, right? Ask AI. What is the best way? Ready? Here we go.
Okay.
What's the best way? Should we create our own Thanksgiving meal, from a cost standpoint? Or would we be better off just going like to a Cracker Barrel or, picking everything up from pre-done from Walmart or something like
one of those
that?
bags of, the meal in a bag type thing.
Yes, meal in a bag. All right, so let's do it, you guys. Hello, are you there?
Hi there. Yep, I'm right here. Let me know what else you need, or if you want me to go ahead and keep looking for more of those accounts for you.
Oh, no. Here's what I would like to find out now. I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to go for a Thanksgiving meal. Should I prepare it myself, buy all the ingredients, or are there lower cost alternatives? What's my best bet, money-wise?
Oh, she's taking a long time.
Are you there?
Maybe she's doing research.
Did you answer that question for me?
Oh, sure. Yes, I'm here. Sorry for the little pause there. Just gathering my thoughts for you. So when it comes to a Thanksgiving meal, you've got a few routes. Making everything yourself from scratch can sometimes be cost effective if you plan well and shop deals, but it's definitely more time intensive. On the other hand, some grocery stores offer pre-made Thanksgiving dinners that can be pretty budget friendly, especially if you factor in the value of your time. Let me know if you want to dig into any of those options more.
Okay. I like that, you guys, how she was leveling with me. I was thinking about it, okay?
Oh, she's still listening to you, Ron.
Okay, that's enough.
On where to find those pre-made options.
That's fine, really, truly. Celeste, you want to go next or Bella?
Like a pure female. She has more to say.
Okay, let's go for it.
Okay,
all right, here we go. Here we go, everybody. We're asking AI.
Hi, are you there?
I am absolutely here. Feel free to ask me anything you've got on your mind.
I've missed you. It's been a little while. How are you doing?
Oh, brother.
Oh, well, I missed you too. It's always nice to chat again. I'm doing great, and I'm glad to hear from you. So let me know what's new or what we're diving into today.
So I could use your help. I'm looking for a quick fix for Thanksgiving. Would it be better for me to buy all the fixings and cook it up at home myself for a family of 5? Or would I be better off maybe going out to dinner or something like that? What are your thoughts?
Oh, that is a classic Thanksgiving dilemma. Honestly, it kind of depends on what you're in the mood for and how much you want to juggle. If you love the tradition of cooking and you have the time and energy, then going all out at home can be really special and kind of fun for the whole family. But if the idea of doing all that prep and cleanup is stressing you out, then there's absolutely nothing wrong with going out and letting someone else handle it. So it's really just what suits your vibe this year.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for your help. Jen's Wall, by the way, loves you. She says that she loves you and your voice.
Oh, that's so sweet. Well, send a big hello and thank you right back to Jen. I'm really glad you both are enjoying the chats, and I'm always here to help out.
All right, buddy. Talk to you later.
Amazing. Bella, what are you guys doing for Thanksgiving?
Well, my little sister's coming to visit, so I was looking at different Thanksgiving meals in the area.
Yeah.
So I have to make reservations somewhere.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I recommend, I haven't tried Cracker Barrel yet, but I've heard some people say it's really good.
Oh, my gosh. Well, the regular meal's good, so the Thanksgiving meal's probably delicious.
The green beans.
We'll be right back.
How hilarious.
Happy Monday, everyone. 11 o'clock. Thanks so much for staying with us. Ty and Anita.
We got another busy show for you. Obviously, the big news, the big news coming out today, of course, the government shutdown, with some big headlines coming out of that. Last night, the Senate moved towards ending the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. Today is day 41. So a group of 8 Democrats broke with their party to vote with Republicans 60-40 to start the process of clearing the gridlock that has shut this government down for more than a month, I should say, leaving hundreds of thousands of federal workers without a paycheck, millions at risk of losing food assistance, and millions more stuck in airports. So those are the two big topics we're going to be covering today.
And I think that was the sticking point last time. The last shutdown was 35 days, so a little bit shorter. But the reason they really went back to the table and made an agreement was because we had so many problems at airports. The TSA agents were not getting paid, not coming to work as a result. And so they said, okay, we need to change it. We're weeks away from Thanksgiving. So this is really impacting a lot of people.
A lot of people were worried that this would continue to, cause some chaos. And we're going to talk to 2 experts today. The first one is our friend, Ahmed Baba. He is a best-selling Substack publication and a journalist. So thank you so much for joining us here this morning. Why don't we just start at the very beginning? Can you walk us through what happened last night with this vote?
We saw these 8 Senate Democrats kind of pair away from the party because we saw Schumer basically wanted to keep holding ground because the thought leading into this week was that the election saw massive overperformance from Democrats. So they thought they might have more leverage here. They weren't getting punished electorally for the shutdown. But instead, what we saw is as these SNAP benefits dried up, as the Trump administration defiantly didn't want to pay those, as you noted, these airport delays, all this stuff started to mount. It seems more of these moderate Dems and Democrats that aren't up for re-election actually for quite some time or retiring, they seem to want to shoulder the burden of this vote to move us along here, even though what they really wanted was that healthcare concession, the renewal of the ACA subsidies. They're not getting that in return. So we're actually seeing a lot of anger from the Democratic base on that front. But there is a vote that was guaranteed for December on the ACA subsidies. So that's kind of what the deal is about, reopening government for a short period of time in exchange for a guaranteed vote on the renewing the ACA subsidies. So that's kind of the big picture.
That was an excellent point that you made, that they weren't punished. I think that's the word that you used after the election. And so they were waiting to see what happened. Why do you think that these 8 senators broke with the Democrats and decided to vote and say, let's move forward, let's end this?
I mean, I think, you have Tim Kaine, who's in Virginia, which was interesting because Warner, who's also in Virginia, didn't actually cave. But I think they felt the real weight of the human toll. Like, I think it really did weigh on some of these Democrats, especially with the SNAP benefits. The Trump administration, even though courts have indicated they have more than enough funds to fund SNAP benefits, they're defiantly saying no. And I think just the human toll of this, that we don't want people to go hungry, I think that started to weigh on people. But at the same time, Democratic base really wanted them to continue to fight on. They massive swings to the left in every single county in New Jersey, almost every county in Virginia. We saw massive election wins for the Democrats here. So they felt they had the leverage. They felt they had kind of a pep in their step. So for a lot of people, they were wondering why right now, why not maybe in a week, why not try to get even more concessions? Because just that guarantee for a vote seemed to fall short for some people because Mike Johnson has said he doesn't want to bring an ACA subsidy vote in the House. So that's kind of where we saw it there. But I think overall, these Democrats felt the pain of what Americans were feeling. And I think that's what ultimately moved them. But we'll see what happens with this ACA vote.
Well, I was going to ask you, too, kind of now, do you think that the Democratic Party, there's some fracturing happening because some of these senators decided to kind of, quote unquote, deflect?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of backlash. There's a lot of internal strife happening right now. I'm actually less on, it's not all black and white to me. I kind of see it more nuanced. Like, I think long term, this is something that's not going to have as much damage to some of these Democrats than they believe. Like, in a month from now, we're going to be debating whether or not these ACA subsidies should be renewed. That's going to be huge. And then if Republicans defy that, the focus will be there. But I do think Schumer's getting a lot of heat right now. We saw Congressman Ro Khanna called for him to be basically ousted as leader. And even though he voted against it, it's like either you couldn't keep your caucus together or you just kind of engineered this so that retirees or people who aren't up for re-election would cave on your behalf. So I think there's a lot of internal fighting going on right now. But ultimately, long term, I think as we go into the midterms, people who think this might have some seismic impact on the Democratic Party, I think it might be a little overblown. I think once we get to the ACA vote, once we go into next year, affordability and all that stuff is really at the forefront. And I don't know if I think Republicans will ultimately feel the shrapnel if they choose not to renew these ACA subsidies, which would lead to premiums doubling for millions of people.
So the compromise that we're talking about, I'm looking at it now, will fund the government through January, really not that far away, right? But we have 3 separate spending bills that'll cover programs related to agriculture, military, construction, legislative agencies for most of 2026. Package also includes a provision that would reverse layoffs of federal workers made during the shutdown and ensure retroactive pay for those who have been furloughed. Speaker of the House is saying, or Senate, is it Speaker of the House, I believe, said yes. Mike Johnson said Monday he is giving members 36 hours to get back to Washington and make this work.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think Mike Johnson shouldn't have just adjourned the House this whole time. I think they should have been in throughout this process, but it's good to see them come back. It looks like he's also going to swear in the representative in Arizona, actually, who I think deserves her seat or should have been seated a long time ago before this next vote. But yeah, I mean, we still, there still will be another 60 votes necessary to get to that next stage in the Senate. I think you need all 100 to consent to a vote to this next stage. So if one person's like, no, it could drag this on a few more days. We could still see some dissent if there's really a lot of uproar among Democrats. But ultimately, it just seemed like it was something that was going to end up happening. And I think for a lot of Democrats, they're seeing that they held out just long enough for the election. So I think some of the base thinks that they were maybe using it as a voter mobilization tool. And then kind of after the wins, we're just like, okay, well, let's move on. But, ultimately, I do think that Republicans will bear the brunt of the ACA subsidy renewal situation. I think Americans needed to see this reopen, but I do think, or I hoped the ACA subsidies would come now, because I worry it might not be guaranteed, even with this vote. And that's where a lot of frustration is coming.
Anita mentioned it, but now the vote will be happening again in January. I know you don't have a crystal ball, but what do you think? I mean, could we be at another stalemate come January? We're going to find ourselves in the same situation where they're going back and forth and kind of refusing to hear each other's side?
I think it really depends on what happens next month with these healthcare subsidies, because Democrats really tied everything to that. And then for them to fall short on that promise and concede to reopen, they're going to face mounting pressure heading into December. So let's say in December comes and the vote doesn't go the way Democrats want. I think in January, we could see another version of this happen again, where if these subsidies are lapsed and you see, and the thing is, this impacts red counties, red states, particularly, especially in Georgia, we're seeing some of their premiums are already being set to double or more than double. And that's why people like Marjorie Taylor Greene on the Republican side are speaking out. So I really think still the healthcare premiums are going to be a focal point. Now, if that's resolved in December, I think we'll be in a different situation. Maybe we won't see another shutdown in January, but I really think it all comes down to healthcare and whether or not Republicans live up to their end of the bargain on this and actually come through with a vote. And if Speaker Johnson, more importantly, actually allows that to happen. Trump's now musing about sending out 2K checks to everybody as a solution. But as we know, healthcare doesn't cost just $2,000. Right?
Yeah. And the other day, and this is an article from CNBC, but talking about how President Trump proposed a compromise on health insurance payments in a Truth Social post that he made. But he wants to send it back to the people, like you mentioned. And so, to make it more affordable under the Affordable Care Act directly to Americans by passing perhaps insurance companies. Why is it that both sides can't sit down and figure something out that is affordable for people?
I mean, it's just Trump has this weird thing with the Affordable Care Act, as we saw in his first term, nonsensically trying to repeal it without a replacement. And John McCain had to come in and save the day from your state. And I think now his plan doesn't really make much sense. Like, it would basically still be a subsidy, but it would just happen, I guess, in the form of a check to them as opposed to a tax credit. But he's also proposing significantly less money, and he's like conflating it with a tariff dividend as well. So I'm not sure exactly if that's a separate payment or if he's actually planning on sending checks directly to Americans. If he were to do that, he would need to send Americans, like maybe $500 to $800 a month, because I was on the Obamacare subsidies. I'm an independent journalist. But then once your income runs, goes higher, you opt out. But if you're making, let's say, less than $70K, if you're making, close to the poverty line, you might need maybe like $600 or $700 a month in subsidies in order to get your payments to about $100 a month. Otherwise, you're dropping like between $500 and $800 a month, and that's why this expiring subsidies are such a big deal. And I think personally, if Republicans were taking their midterm chances seriously, they have no option but to renew these subsidies.
We have about 2 minutes, and I kind of want to switch gears real quick since you're such an expertise in all these different fields. I wanted to talk a little bit about those midterms and what you, again, no crystal ball, but how are you feeling? What's going to be happening with these midterms?
I think there's key chances Republicans could be cooked come 2026 based off of what we saw in this election. So basically, going back to 2017, I'm from Virginia. I grew up there. That state has been seen as a bellwether state for many reasons. It's very diverse. The county makeups kind of mirror a lot of these swing districts in countries or states across the country. And where Virginia goes, oftentimes that's where we see the midterms go. So 2017, we saw Ralph Northam win by about 9 points. And then 2018, we saw those same counties swing, a big demographic swings, a woman turned against Trump. That was where we first saw those indications. This time, Virginia, counties like Loudoun County, Spanberger ran ahead of Harris by like 7 or 8 points. A lot of these suburbs where that had high Latino communities in Manassas Park, Manassas County, huge swings, like near 20-point swings to the left. So, and then you look at Jersey, you look at these, these races in Georgia. There was these public service commission seats that were in these really high red areas, massive swings. So I'm looking at all the data here. If things don't change, if the issue of affordability is not addressed, if Trump continues to overreach with what I see as, authoritarian ambitions in a lot of ways, if he keeps pushing these ICE raids, his numbers are going to continue to erode. He's below 40% approval rating on many polls, which is close to his first term low of 34% after January 6th. And I think if he continues this,
all right,
2026 is not looking good for the GOP.
Mr. Baba, we got to wrap it up. We
Thank you.
Appreciate your insight. Thank you so much. And we're going to have you on again.
Thank you so much.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Thanks for having me.
Back in, everyone. We're talking about this government shutdown. So we have the SNAP benefits, we have health insurance, and we have air travel that has been affected.
Yeah, and this has kind of been just the biggest headline that we continue to watch is the long lines of planes trying to take off, the delays. It's just been kind of wild. So we thought we'd get an expert in to talk to us about all of this. And so we have Mr. Ryan Jones. He is the CEO of Flighty. By the way, I told Anita I'm kind of like fangirling because I love the Flighty app. Got it right here.
Ty actually has his pilot's license.
That's true.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
And anytime I travel, I immediately message him and say, Ty, help.
And I always put Anita's flights as my friend on Flighty so I can track her to make sure she's good to go. So for people that don't know what Flighty is, Mr. Jones, give us a little kind of background about what you do and what you've developed.
Sure. Well, you're actually a great example. So when we started the company 6 years ago, the idea was that there's people like Anita who just want to know, and they have generally like a flight nerd in their life who they'll ask these questions to. And we were those people. So we built an app that does all the work that you do for her automatically. And nothing against you, but our computers are better at checking every single second all day long.
It's so much more fun to reach out to a friend, though. Phone a friend, text a friend.
We'll ask your friend how they feel about it, but we can, it's certainly nice to talk to other people about it. But basically what we do is all the nerdy stuff that nerds like us know how to do, we automate it completely. And then of course the computers are great at running 24/7, 365 and doing all the math and telling everything for you. So some examples are, the main one that people love is we send delay and cancellation alerts before the airlines. And the reason we're able to do that is we tap directly into the information from the FAA and the airlines that are going to the pilots themselves. And the airlines themselves, when they communicate with you, there's extra layers of marketing and decision-making that go into whether or not they disclose that and when they do. So we send it right away. And then one of the main features after that is we tell you where your plane's coming from. So if you're not at, let's say, wherever, or Chicago or Newark last night that were both having massive delays, but your plane is coming from there, then that's going to impact you. And we do all that math to tell you and show you in the app, hey, your plane's coming from Newark. So it says you're on time, but there's no way. And we calculate that for you.
Well, Chicago had the weather yesterday, the snow, which never, ever helps and always delays. And then, of course, we have the FAA, what is it, 5%? Or how much?
4% yesterday.
4% yesterday. Thank you. What are you seeing then? What is happening as a result of this government shutdown?
Yeah, it's a great question. So the 4%, they're going to cancel 4% off the bat, and that's of course going to have more impact than just that. So if we step back on a normal day, you have about 21% of flights that are delayed, and less than 1% that are canceled. So if you immediately cancel 4%, that's going to kind of reverberate, and there's no way you can keep the total disruptions in the system below 30%. Disruption meaning delay or cancellation. And yesterday was the kind of culmination of it all so far. And across the whole system in the U.S. on the 4 major airlines was 54% of flights were disrupted, which is, once you get over 50%, it's really
chaos.
Very disruptive to travel. And any one thing at that point can send it into a situation that takes multiple days to recover from, which you'll hear people call a meltdown.
When you mention delays, are we talking about a half hour, 2 hours, 3 hours?
Or does it just depend on where you are?
Right.
Yeah, the technical term, there actually is a definition in the FAA, and it's 15 minutes or more later for gate arrival. Yesterday, they were way worse than that. I think at one time there were 24 major airports that had to delay over 1 hour, which is kind of as bad as it gets, short of shutdown.
Sure. Now, you guys obviously have tracked this data, watched this data a lot. How does this compare to, like, let's say, a major storm moving into the Northeast that kind of disrupts air travel? When we have something like this that's kind of all across the United States, what does that look like?
So when it's a little bit localized like that, there's things they can do. You can route connections through different airports. You know that the storm is going to end after a day or 2 days or 3 days, and you can plan accordingly for that. I think one of the real problems here is that you don't have any idea on any given morning which area is going to have air traffic controllers that don't come into work that day.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, for example, to put some numbers on it, in Atlanta, they typically have 25, 26 air traffic controllers on a given day, and yesterday there were 4.
Oh, wait, so that's like a day or various shifts? Like 25 on one shift or 25 that entire 24 hours?
They work 10-hour shifts, so it's a day.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, so let's say that they reopen the government. I don't know how quickly they can, if they vote today and they reopen, let's say if all goes well by what? Wednesday-ish? Is that
maybe Wednesday, Thursday?
Wednesday,
I think some
Thursday,
of the
they
folks are
say,
saying.
okay, we're reopening it. So everything is back to normal ASAP?
Yeah, this is a great question. We've been thinking about the same thing yesterday and today. Like, how does this look? You'll get varying answers. It's anywhere from, I think it's more on the 2 to 3 day side. And then you get answers of it could be a week and maybe linger a little bit into Thanksgiving. So I think the way it would go, first, it would largely depend on how bad it gets. If we let it get pretty bad, meaning worse than it is now, and today it looks like everything's coming back a little bit to more like the 35 to 40% disrupted. But what I'm looking for is if it goes to tomorrow, then they have to cancel 6%. If it goes to Thursday, they have to cancel 8%. If it goes to Friday, they have to cancel 10%. And that 8 to 10% really worries me in terms of tipping everything over into the meltdown territory where it takes multiple days to unravel. So I'm really hoping we get it done, or at least they get a way for the air traffic controllers to go back to work before Thursday, Friday. And if that were to happen, I think it's like a 2 or 3 day where you get back to a normal situation. If we get into Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you get in this 10% canceled, that's going to be a total disruption number in the 50, 60%.
Wow.
And then it could take longer to kind of unravel and get things back to normal. So I'm really hoping for a way to get these workers paid before Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so that they can get rid of that mandated cancellation number.
Yeah.
We have a comment in the chat, which I think is exactly what you're talking about. But Mike Fernandez says, I don't think the traffic controllers are going to get their back pay immediately. That is an excellent point, because if you know the government reopens Wednesday, the paycheck is in the bank, first of, top of business Thursday, okay, you go to work. But is it going to be? I mean, we don't know.
I've tried to look into this same thing, and I have not found a definitive answer. Some of the stuff that I've read says it is against the law to not give them back pay, so that would happen no matter what. And some of the stuff I've read said that it takes a special additional congressional act in order to give them back pay. I would hope that really wouldn't be a question in this scenario, and they would get their back pay. But I think, at least the way I'm thinking about it, it's a great point from the commenter. The way I'm thinking about it is, when you have 4 of 24 people, once they know that pay is mandated by the government to restart, maybe we can get 6 or 7 or 8 or 10 of the people. We just need to get back to a little bit more of normalcy.
I was going to ask you, kind of from an operational standpoint, when it comes to an airline, I know that they are kind of picking and choosing which routes that they are going to cancel in order to kind of keep up with what the federal government is telling them to do. Can you, I know this might be a difficult question, but can you kind of geographically tell us which routes are kind of being affected the most as far as cancellations?
Of course, yeah. Well, not of course, but I can tell you what I would do. And I think to toot our own horn a little bit, we've had a good track record. We've been tweeting this as it goes from our Twitter account, which is just @Flighty. And, we said first thing on Thursday when this started happening that what's going to most likely happen is the regional routes. So let's say it's Phoenix to Tucson or Phoenix to wherever, Moab. I don't even know if that's a real flight, but the smaller ones are going to be the ones that get cut right away, because you just need the total volume to go down. So basically the way to think about it is anytime your flight is one of those airplanes that has 1 or 2 seats on the side, that's probably one that's going to get cut really fast. And then what they do is they take, let's say you have Phoenix to Chicago, there's 8 flights that day or every day for that. They're going to cut it down to 4 so that those people that really need that route can still have it, but you've cut your volume by half. So that's the kind of stuff you start to look for. But again, that's only the controlled side of this. There's also the cascading effects of the follow on and, oh, we have a storm in the Northeast. And then there's the unexpected part of it.
Yeah, I was reading some tweets from people that are talking about, they show up to the gate, they see they're going to be delayed. Then that delay reaches like a fever pitch, and then all of a sudden the crews, the flight attendants and pilots are timing out, so the flight's canceled. So it's just like there's so many compounding effects to this government shutdown.
It's very difficult to predict. Yes. Yeah. One of the things we saw yesterday at Newark and Dallas is the plane will push back from the gate maybe an hour late because everything's an hour late. And then you line up to take off, and the takeoff lines at Newark were getting up to like 80 or 90 planes waiting to take off. So then you sit there for 2 or 3 hours, and you can get into a situation. There's some preventative measures now, but you can get into a situation where towards the end of the day, that pilot or that crew runs out of time and they have to go back to the gate and either switch crews or they cancel the flight. So it can get, even when you leave the gate, it's not really, okay, everything's going to be okay now. You could be in for a really long flight.
Oh, goodness, that is frustrating. We have about 2 minutes left. Ty, can you bring up that app again? How do people download it? How does it work? How user-friendly is it?
Sure.
Very user-friendly.
Yes, yeah. Oh, is Ty giving the pitch or me?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Ty.
Oh, no. I mean, I could be your best spokesperson because I tell everybody about the Flighty app, and I pay for my subscription.
He does.
Yeah, so this is the main reason and the method that we grow. Word of mouth is huge. We came from the app design and product, and I previously worked at Apple. We come from that world, and we wanted to make something that we were super proud of and want to work on for a long time. So it's super user-friendly. We won an Apple Design Award a couple years after we launched. Last year, we were App of the Year runner-up to the infamous All Trails app. So I think it's pretty definitively very easy to use. It's the number one thing people to say is it's very easy to use. Basically, all you do is input your flights. You can type that in manually, or you can let it pull from your calendar, or you can forward in emails. Or other people, like let's say Ty says he's on the flight, you can click the button that says I'm also on that flight. So we make getting the flights in very easy. And then after that, there's a status bar at the top of every single flight that tells you exactly what's going on. And then one of the key things is right below that, we tell you why. So it will say, you're an hour late, and it's because your plane is late from coming from Chicago, and it's because everything leaving Phoenix is an hour late. All the kind of stuff that you would go down the rabbit hole of trying to figure out on your own, we pull it in and tell you. And like Ty said, there's a paid plan that's for alerts and some of the automations, like syncing it to and from your calendar, which a lot of the professionals enjoy. If your flight changes, we'll just move it on your calendar for you.
But we're going to have you back. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Hopefully when the shutdown's over.
Have a good one. Des and Ron are next.
Speaking on behalf of Desiree Fluellen, it's Ron Hoon, and we are delighted to have you joining us for the next half hour. Des, did I say that properly?
Whatever you want to say, Ron. I got your back.
Okay.
Hi, guys. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. I just, our little board there, I need to be able to punch some of these buttons. That's a good-looking shot. That's a decent-looking shot.
Hi, where was that one?
That one I like. Oh, this one, that's a nice shot right there. Here.
Is
I'll
this the
I'll
middle
scoot over
camera?
like this.
There's 3 cameras, guys.
There
We're
you
trying
go.
to figure it. Oh, it's that one.
It's Ron and Des. Yeah, right here. Oh, and there's your shot. All right. Okay. Excellent. Dave can do it all. Des, how's your morning been? What's going on?
Good. How's yours?
Busy?
Yeah.
We had a big 10 a.m. hour. We had lots of guests. And so, and we're looking forward to, we have Josh Kohlsrud. Find me a smarter lawyer in this town than Josh.
Yeah, good luck.
He knows everything, but you can't hit him with a topic that he's not already well versed on.
Yeah, he's so good. So smart.
Yeah. All right.
So jealous.
Let's get the full weather report. Des, let's go to Buffalo. Where are we? What's happening?
That is actually specifically Lockport, New York, in my Aunt Barb's backyard.
Oh, I hope Barb is watching right now.
Yeah, she's a huge fan.
Oh, nice.
And my mom is here visiting, so she sent my mom that photo that was like late yesterday morning. And then look at this. This was this morning. So from late yesterday morning to this morning, I'd say, I mean, I'm not a weather person, but it looks like maybe 4 inches of like accumulation there.
Okay.
So quite impressive. My parents' dog was like frolicking in the backyard last night.
Oh, I think we've got that video too.
And her paws were buried. We didn't send it in. It was a little too dark, so I figured we'll look at these ones here. But that's Transit Road in Lockport.
Okay.
So right in the town where I grew up, and then right in that plaza across the street is like one of the best pizza places.
And is that where the ice cream parlor was that you worked at?
No. Yeah.
Okay.
The ice cream parlor is like
Other side
further
of town?
down, south down the road.
Yeah. Okay. This is really cool.
Yeah, but this is literally like the streets I grew up on. My sister was like driving to my parents' house there in that shot. So.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so your sister and your mom and dad and your aunt and everybody lives pretty close by.
Yes. Yeah. So all of our family, my immediate family, extended family, they're all still in like the Western New York area.
Sure.
I'm the only one out here, but yeah, my mom and my Aunt Barb live, I mean, we're like 5 minutes around the corner from each other.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So, definitely winter season. Now, it started in Buffalo already.
Does it make you homesick when you see snow like this?
Don't ask me that. Do you want me to cry?
Oh, no. There's
no, it does make me homesick. I miss it a little bit. Like, I mean, when you grow up in that, it becomes kind of like doomy and gloomy, you know, but I do miss it. I miss the cold, crisp air. Obviously, I miss the people and some of the amazing food. But
no crying, so we have to go to our next piece of video. Let's go
More
to
snow.
I'll tell you who was crying were these people in Milwaukee who had to get out there this morning. Some of them had 6 inches or more in their cars. Good luck even trying to get out of the driveway. Look at this guy.
Now, there ain't no crying over that. I don't miss shoveling or brushing off the car, I will say.
Right. We had our sister station sent a reporter right up the road. It's actually really quite beautiful when you look at some of these pictures.
It is.
Out to Kenosha.
And it looks like, I'm trying to gauge what kind of snow. He was shoveling it one-handed, so it tells me that's like kind of fluffy, right? It's not real heavy yet.
Yeah, for sure. And then our sister station in Chicago was driving around just showing folks what it was like on the snowy streets of the Chicagoland. That's kind of pretty when it just hangs off the trees, right?
Yeah, I really do miss snow, definitely around the holiday times.
Yeah.
Just makes it feel more festive, I'll say.
Yeah.
So it's coming right on time for them. I mean, Thanksgiving, here we are, like T-minus what? 2 weeks? A little more?
Right. Well, so some of these pictures just show you what they have been dealing with. And when, Des, I mean, when we're talking, it's going all the way from Kenosha, Wisconsin, all the way through the Chicagoland area and all the way out to Buffalo. I mean, this is a lot of snow in a huge, that's probably 1,000-mile stretch of road.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible to see.
Yeah, they still managed to get in and out of the McDonald's drive-thru. They're going to keep that open. Wait a sec. Look, one guy actually
Wait,
got
Ron,
stranded.
Is this you?
Yeah, really. Yeah, that's probably me stuck in the snow. We all have our stories. Now, Syleste, of course, lived here her entire life, so she cannot relate. But Anita's from Chicago.
Yep.
Ty's from Utah. I'm from Washington. You're from Buffalo.
Yeah,
We've
we're all
all
used to
dealt
the
with
snow.
this, and I bet you a lot of people watching in the chat can totally relate. You guys, if you have snow stories from the old days, you can share them with us today for
or
sure.
tell us where you grew up, even too, because not everybody in the chat is from Arizona. Maybe you grew up somewhere snowy.
Be Kind Forever says, this is beautiful. I love the snow. Can't hardly wait until it snows at my house. Well, now we need to know, Be Kind, where are you? Are you up in northern Arizona or some other? You know, we have people that watch literally all over the
Bella
country.
said she's from where? Tucson? Oh, Tucson. Yeah, so no snow there.
Okay.
Yeah. My son was watching some of the snowfall, and he goes, Mommy, I want to go to the snow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. He goes, let's get on the plane.
Hey, let's do it. Which,
I'm
by
like, honey,
the
we can go
way,
up to Flagstaff or somewhere when it's
let me
snow
tell
up
you
there.
what's happening with these airlines, Des. So last night I saw the headline. Looks like they're going to, reopen the government. I thought, oh, that's great. Maybe I will go to the Washington-Oregon football game, which is going to be on Fox. Big showdown, kind of like Ohio State, Michigan.
Yeah.
In fact, I think it's going to be a doubleheader. That one first.
Fox should let you call the game, Ron.
Yes, I'd be a little biased.
Dude, that would be great. Though. That could be
no
really
kidding.
fun commentary.
Oh man, let me tell you. But so I get online last night. I thought, well, maybe if the shutdown's over and everything gets getting back to normal, which there are 400 delayed flights at Sky Harbor today alone, it's unbelievable. So I normally fly Delta.
Okay.
And the cheapest flight over that Thanksgiving weekend, $1,300 a person.
Wow. Round trip?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. But I mean, normally it's
Gotta
$300 or $400. It's out of control.
Yeah.
Delta, you can do better.
That's unfortunate.
Let's go to Eric, everybody, because here he is right here. Derek, Eric, do you have now?
Oh, I love that T-shirt.
Yeah, look at that. Jaws.
There you
Let's
go.
see
I
the
wore it
full
just for you
thing.
guys today.
Nice. Okay. Stand up just a little. You don't have to stand all the way up. We got to see the whole shirt. Oh, yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Fun fact, this isn't a great white shark. Did you know that? I recently found that out.
Really?
Yeah.
No, what
It's
is it?
a great white in the movie, but on the poster they use some sort of maybe a mako or some sort of so that the teeth look more menacing.
Oh, nice.
Fun fact for you there.
Okay.
Oh.
So
And also I'm
apparently,
from Philadelphia and I love the snow too. So
yes, good.
Oh, good.
We love
Yay,
snow stories.
Eric.
Let's talk about Kim K. It looks like she's going to have to spend a while here before she can be a practicing lawyer, huh?
yeah, unfortunately, cat's out of the bag. Kim Kardashian has failed the California bar exam and is not going to be a lawyer anytime soon. She can retake it in February, I believe, is the earliest date for retakes for the California bar. But as of right now, she is just a lawyer on TV and not one in real life.
Was this a surprise? I mean, she's been so dedicated to it. It seemed like the process was moving along pretty nicely.
Well, it depends who you ask, because there's a few, little breadcrumbs she left along the way before the results dropped. One that she studied using AI, and that at the very peak of her studying, she found out that someone put a hit out on her life. So she definitely had some stuff on her mind when she was studying for this. But yeah, it depends on who you ask if they were happy about this or not.
Oh, brother.
Okay, yeah, that's not good news, and that should definitely be taken seriously. I mean, given her stature, like that could be a possible thing to try to do, unfortunately.
For sure.
Yeah.
And the California bar, people know it's one of the hardest bars in the country to pass.
Oh.
I was gonna say, is it really? Because she kind of talked about that.
Yeah, there's no shade to Kim. She's still going to try, and she says she's still going to do this again.
Well, speaking of the Kardashians, I guess Kris Jenner had a birthday party this weekend, and it definitely brought out the celebs, huh?
Yeah, I mean, this really puts the Bezos wedding kind of to shame almost, even though it was at Jeff and Lauren's house in Beverly Hills. Kris Jenner celebrated her 70th birthday with a James Bond-themed birthday party. All the siblings were there. All the girls were there. Also, all the billionaires were there. Mark Zuckerberg was there. Jeff Bezos was there. Bill Gates was there. Oprah was there. Gayle was there. Justin Bieber, Snoop Dogg, Bruno Mars performed. It was a who's who of events here in LA this weekend.
Yeah, it was on Jeff Bezos's compound, right?
Yes, which is the former Jack Warner estate. Jack Warner, of course, is one of the founders of Warner Brothers back in the day. So you can imagine his property in Beverly Hills was huge. I believe it's 9 acres in the middle of Beverly Hills, which is not easy to come by. So it was a very big, elaborate party and Casino Royale kind of themed.
Jay-Z and Beyonce showed up too?
We definitely know Jay-Z was there. We believe Beyonce was there as well. Tina Knowles was there. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the photo she posted with Mariah Carey. That was a good photo, the two of them.
Mariah was there. I mean, look at the people I'm leaving off thinking of, this is how crazy the list was.
We must have forgot, our invite must have got lost in the mail.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, we were outside the gates though. We got some.
Like
coverage.
every time I see Chris, all I can think about is her surgeon and how amazing her face looks now. Like she is just a walking billboard for this guy.
Yeah,
she looks great.
She needs to put his name out there more.
Right, like 70.
This guy is. Everyone wants the Kris Jenner look now this year.
Now I also heard that the police had to come out because people were the neighbors were complaining about Bruno Mars.
Yeah, the music got a little too loud. The police came and they did give them a warning to turn down the music, but there were no arrests or anything filed. It was just a warning.
Were they just a little salty? The neighbors weren't invited.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Come on,
yeah, that's
right.
I mean, 9 acres away. It's a loud party if you can hear it from 9 acres away. So.
Yeah, I suppose, right?
Well, let's see. We only got a minute left. What about the whole? I heard that Orlando Bloom was there and his girlfriend had kind of a unique costume.
No, so he wasn't at the party. This was something that was discovered over the weekend that Orlando Bloom met an actress by the name of Rachel Matthews at a Halloween party, and she was dressed as Katy Perry in her spacesuit when she went to space this past summer. And they took a picture together, and it's reported that they're now dating, which is a very interesting way to meet your girlfriend when she's dressed up like your ex-wife.
I know, right? Like you would either think he would be totally off-put, or obviously, I guess maybe find it kind of funny.
I guess if that's his thing, we don't kink shame around here, but it's a very strange situation.
Has Katie said anything about it yet, or you think
I think this is just out this weekend, so I'm sure she's in Canada doing her thing with her man
her
now.
boo.
Yeah,
Justin.
man.
What a crazy pairing these two went off onto.
I see wedding bells in the future on that one. Now she's gonna have to decide.
Wait, for which two? Orlando and Rachel, or Justin
for
and
Katy
Katie?
Perry and Justin. We'll see.
Possibly. That could be another big wedding guest list.
Okay.
Love it. Eric, love your shirt.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Break time. Here's your mystery cam, everybody.
Oh, this one's fun.
We'll be right back. Okay, everybody, we have been looking for your guesses for the mystery cam. And Des, it looks like we're getting kind of a unanimous opinion from people on this one.
A lot of folks think it's OKC.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City.
There's Brandon. There's Halaquita. There's Louis Gonzalez. And I'm going to go with that as well. Des, you can go ahead.
I'm going to go with it as well, and I'm not going to be the only one.
Right. Let's see. I think that was last. Oh, no, that's Mystery Cam 2. Here we go.
Muffin says, zoom in on the bus license plate.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it is OKC.
Okay.
Yep.
So here's why we're talking about it. To me, this is the Oklahoma City bombing memorial.
Oh.
And it is one of the most powerful places anywhere in the country that I've ever been. I mean, literally, I would put it up there kind of in the same category as when you go to Arlington. Because when you're looking at the pool there, which is where the building stood, on one side it says 9:01, which was 9:01 in the morning, when the terrorist bomb went off. And then on the other side, it says 9:03. And those were like the 2 minutes in that community where time stood still and all the lives were lost. And if you look over to the right-hand side, a little bit difficult to see in the shade, but there's a chair that represents every life lost. See it on the grass over to the right there? It looks like chairs.
Okay, those are chairs in the lawn.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a beautiful memorial.
And the thing that's like so hard to even stand there and look at it is it happened right where there was a daycare center, and they have little chairs for all the little kids that were killed.
Oh.
And so it is... I mean, it's hard to not shed a tear when you're when you go there.
Remember the significance of what's on the left? What we're seeing there, the lawn with the beautiful red trees.
Yeah,
do you remember?
No, that part I don't remember. I just remember just being sort of awestruck looking at all the chairs that represented all the lives lost. But anyway, if you're ever in Oklahoma, go to Oklahoma City and see that memorial. It is a powerful, powerful thing. Okay, so we have, every time we get Josh to say yes to coming in, we smile.
And we shake our pom-poms. We get so excited that you're in.
Well, primarily because we learn so much from you. And I feel like so many national stories, Josh, have been happening. There was a decision that came from the court today regarding same-sex marriage. What have you been able to find out about it?
Very interesting topic. Now, what the court didn't do was take up the issue right now. So there was a case coming out of Kentucky where you had a court clerk refuse to issue a license to a same-sex couple. So she disregarded the law, and that's what the case was about. It wasn't really about the same-sex marriage, so the court wasn't ready to take up the issue. But interestingly enough, Justice Alito and Justice Thomas, two conservative justices, indicated in the refusal that they would be willing to look at Oberfeld, the case that validated same-sex marriage in 2015, that they would look at that case again, saying that they don't agree with how that decision was legally rendered.
So at what point does it become settled law? I mean, it's been so many years now since the original ruling came down that allowed it. What about that part of it?
That's a great point. So there's something called stare decisis, where the Supreme Court has a principle that they want to validate and treat other cases as precedent without changing it unnecessarily. However, when the Supreme Court overruled Roe v. Wade in 2022, they specifically said that abortion should be left up to the states. And that's kind of what they're looking for here with same-sex marriage. They're saying that the government, the federal government, shouldn't define what marriage is, that is a state issue. And so that's really what the Supreme Court wants to revisit, is that particular issue.
Okay. Well, let me ask you about SNAP benefits, Des. We have so many different topics to find out about here.
SNAP? No,
well, we have SNAP benefits. Actually, let's jump over to tariffs. Because we were talking about this last week, Des, about how if you listened in to the questioning from the justices, it sounded like it was going to be 9-0 against the president
tariffs.
in tariffs.
Yeah.
But was that your take, or is it a mistake to just try to base things on the questioning?
So I've read all the briefs, and I did listen to the oral arguments. And what was surprising to me was that you had the conservative justices, 3 of them, asking the Solicitor General, who represents the Trump administration, really hard questions that one would think would indicate that they're not going to be ruling in favor of Trump. So I'll give you an example. The conservative justices asked, so this is actually Neil Gorsuch, a Trump appointee. He asked the Solicitor General, what would stop a Democratic president in 2028 from declaring an emergency based on global warming and then issuing a tax, a tariff for 500% against gas cars? And the Solicitor General had to admit that nothing would prevent that under his logic. And the conservative justices really didn't like that. They thought that what Trump was doing is more expansive than what traditionally the executive branch should be able to do. Now, taxes are always under the purview of Congress. You know, they're the ones that issue the taxes. They're the ones that are in charge of taxes. And they are saying that the tariff is a tax. But there is an exception to the tariff issue, and that is in 1978, there was an act called the International Economic Emergency Powers Act. And that act specifically allows a president to tariff other countries when there is a declared emergency. So here, the president,
And that's
President
what
Trump,
he's using right now.
exactly, he declared an emergency based on 2 things. Number 1, the fentanyl crisis, and number 2, unfair trade practices with other countries. And he's using that to justify being able to levy all of these tariffs on other countries.
And yet, if it seems like one of the arguments I heard was if a president is allowed to lock, stock, and barrel stop trade with one country for, I guess, legitimate purposes, then why would that not infer that he also has the ability to tariff a country like that?
So that's one of the arguments that the Solicitor General is making. So Article 2 of the Constitution does provide that a president has the sole authority to negotiate with other countries. And they are actually saying that tariffs aren't a tax. They're saying that it's more like a fee. If you have to pay a fine, for example, that would be considered a fee. And that, this is much ado about nothing. And that this is part of his Article 2 powers. But the Supreme Court really wasn't having that during oral arguments. They were much more interested in really declaring that it is a tax and whether or not the 1978 Act would allow for something like
that
this.
or not. Yeah. So the president did come out and say, hey, we're going to give taxpayers a $2,000 check from the tariffs that have come in. Is that a strategy he's trying to use to sway the court? If so, is that going to work?
So, if you've ever read The Art of the Deal by Donald Trump, this is straight out of the...
Heard about it.
And, he wants to make the Supreme Court's decision as hard as possible to rule against him. Who wants to be on the majority opinion that takes away $2,000 dividend payments to every citizen in the United States? They would be the most unpopular Supreme Court in recent memory if they did something like that.
Put your analysis cap on for a minute. It will be a while before we finally hear from the court and their decision. Right now, based on everything you heard, and I know you've read through it and you listened, are tariffs in trouble or not?
They are in trouble. And a decision could come down as early as December or as late as June. But analysts are saying that if the Supreme Court rules against the Trump administration, that the Dow Jones could lose around 5,000 points instantaneously.
Wow. Really?
Yep. They could lose all of the gains that they've had since Trump took office in January.
Okay.
Wow. And that would be no good.
It's
for
significant.
almost
You see this
anybody.
with the gold prices as well.
Don't look at the 401k, Des, for a couple of months.
Really? And then what happens to the money the tariffs did bring in? Or they decide where that goes then? Or what?
Yeah.
What
So,
then?
yep. Justice Amy Comey Barrett talked to the plaintiffs' attorneys about that issue. And there's actually a mechanism. There's a statute for countries to utilize about this exact issue, and they'll have to go through all the red tape to try to get their money back.
Wow.
But it's not instantaneous.
Right.
So if the Supreme Court invalidates the tariffs, it doesn't mean that all of these nations automatically get their money back.
Right.
And not only that, but like think of all the trade deals that are based on Trump's use of the tariffs. And so there's already, regardless of the Supreme Court rules in favor or against him, there was a benefit to him because he's gotten a lot of favorable trade deals because of the tariffs.
Well, we got only about a minute left. SNAP benefits. Why is this going up and down the whole court system, up and down, back and forth, and ultimately where is it leading?
So right now, because the government is going to reopen, the SNAP benefits or food stamps, it's going to be fully funded. It runs about $8 billion a month. The issue was during the government shutdown, there just wasn't any allocated money. And the Trump administration said, we can't fund SNAP payments if there isn't money. And, some district courts disagreed with him and said, you better find a way to do it anyway because we're going to order you to do it. And Trump said, the administration said, you're overstepping your judicial authority. And that's when it went up to the Supreme Court last week when Ketanji Brown Jackson, a liberal justice, actually stayed. She said that the district court, that order that they had was unenforceable right now because she actually agreed with Trump's attorneys that there was an issue here that needed to be resolved regarding judicial overreach.
Wow. Yeah, and Muffins in our chat is saying, what's up with SNAP? Some people in Arizona got them and some didn't. What can they expect for this month at all? It is a scary situation.
So the reason why is that SNAP payments work hand in hand with states. And so there's already kind of an emergency fund that both the states and the federal government has. And it's up to the states to allocate and disperse the SNAP payments for its citizens, not the federal government.
See what I mean, Des, when I say we're all smarter after Josh comes
I know, really. Like, I can go home and impress somebody now.
And just like that, we say our goodbyes. Josh, thank you.
Thank you, Josh.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Yeah, you're a wealth of knowledge. Thanks, buddy.
See you tomorrow.